meeting to order. It is Tuesday, October 26th of 2021. This is the Stoughton City Council, and the first item would be the roll call.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little different tonight. Let's start with Venegas.
Here.
Tchaikovsky,
Here.
Schumacher.
I was unprepared because you went in reverse. I'm here.
Oh,
Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. Reeves,
Here.
Mayaski,
Here.
Lagaki. I don't hear Jean. Jensen,
Here.
Hunt,
Here.
Hirsch,
Here.
Doom,
Here.
and Caravello.
I am here.
Yay. Okay, so we have 11 alders present. Actually, we have 10. I have highly absent and excused, and I assume Lugaki is probably going to be absent at this point.
All
She's
right.
not the phone yet, is she? We had a phone caller.
No, we'll keep going. Maybe Jean will join us.
Okay.
Minutes and reports are in the packet. Public comment period. I didn't have anybody signed up for that. And that would take us to communications and presentations. Any communications from alders? And just give me a moment so I can try to widen my screen here so I can see everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, Alderperson Jensen.
Thank you. As you all know, that the lead abatement project is finished now. I just wanted to congratulate Jill and her staff on completing that lead-free project. I think it's pretty amazing that they did so. I see that Tim has got some information up on that. And I also wanted to thank Jill and her staff for hosting a family with an autistic child who was interested in the lineman's work and the utility poles. So I think that was extremely kind of them to do so, and I appreciated that very much. I am the grandfather of an autistic child, and anything we can do to help them is greatly appreciated. So that's all I had. Thank you.
All right, any communications from other alders? And just pardon me because I can't see you all on the screen here. I'm still trying to figure out that navigation part. I have a couple I'll add. The first one is I wanted to let you know that we received a bronze level again for the Wisconsin Healthy Communities designation, and Alderperson Tchaikovsky was instrumental in making that happen. So I wanted to thank her. I reached out to her and she said she would do that. And I don't know, Joyce, if you want to tell us a little bit about that process, go ahead.
Okay, we apply for this every 3 years, and we achieved a bronze 3 years ago. During COVID, the people who were key to this suggested that we do something as simple as possible. So we applied for a bronze level again. But I learned so much and I have so many resources. Now I'm going to put something together. Teresa Pellet and Laura May, Tony King and Parks and Rec, Cindy McGlynn and Holly at the Senior Center, Holly Camacho, all participated. I don't have that list in front of me, so I hope I'm not overlooking any. But we were thrilled that we did what was needed to achieve a bronze level. It's not a small task. So we'll look at that again in 2024.
All right, and thank you for doing that. I mean, it was a process to go through the application and complete all the requirements. So we appreciate that. A couple other things I have, we're in the midst of a leaf pickup, which goes until November 24th. So this is a picture of the correct way to do leaves. So it's just a reminder to try to keep them out of the street, keep them up on the grass where the public works fellows can come around and suck them leaves up and keep them out of our river. And then the other item I had is Halloween will be celebrated this weekend. There is an event downtown, which I'll let Callie touch on. And then we're recommending that if you want to go door to door, you do it from 6 to 8 on Sunday night. Obviously, COVID is still a thing, so we want people to be careful, and masking actually works out well for Halloween. So, and remind people to just be safe out there. It gets dark out, people are crossing the road. So keep that in mind when we come to this weekend and trick or treating. And then I know Director Friedel has a communication.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch real quick on the last committee of the whole budget workshop. I know we left with a couple open items, and kind of the third meeting, which is scheduled for this Thursday, was still kind of up in the air. And we did receive one final piece of information, and that is the statement of assessment. So we're forecasting the city's mill rate to be $7.82. After we got the final statement of assessment and we're able to plug that in, that mill rate remained unchanged. So that we can cross that one off our list. So really, in terms of the open items, it's really just kind of finalizing the transit budget, which won't happen until the first week of November at this point in time, and I don't anticipate that changing materially. So at this point, I don't think there's going to be anything big that's going to come up. So just wanted to let everybody know here. I thought it would be easier to do it here. That the third committee of the whole workshop will not take place on Thursday, because really we don't have any open items at this point. So that was my communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderperson Schumacher, did you have a communication?
Mayor, I didn't see Chief Leck on. Are you able to make any statement about the high school situation, lockdown situation from yesterday? Or I know they are released a public statement, but maybe even just to say what the public statement was if others didn't see that or hear about it.
Yeah, basically there was, the police was involved with apprehending a suspect, and during the process of that, which was a couple blocks away from the high school, they put out a soft lockdown to the high school. And unfortunately, there was a misinterpretation, on the school district of what they should do or what button they should push. And unfortunately, it sent out an Alice alert, which created some confusion and a lot of stress for students and families in the community. And, that's basically what happened. The suspect was apprehended. There was never any moment when anybody was in any danger, but certainly it was an unsettling situation for all involved. And I know that protocols are being evaluated and updated to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again.
And I didn't mean that as any negative on the school board at all. I was just saying that just as a awareness for the community that an event like that did happen within the city in case they heard about it somewhere so that they could get the straight story on it. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, and if you have any additional questions or if people reach out to you, feel free to, to forward that to Chief Leck. That way, we have a consistent and accurate message. And that's really the best practice in a lot of these situations anyway. We don't want to send, mixed signals out there to the community. We take these situations very seriously. And I know that Chief Leck met with Dr. Onsager this afternoon. And I believe that'll be the first of many ongoing meetings, related to these types of issues. So that's all I have to say on the matter. And thanks for bringing it up, Brett. Any other communications from alders? And I just had a couple quick ones. One of our members of our Public Safety Committee, citizen members, John Basco, has decided to volunteer for the police department. So we will be having a citizen member position available on the Public Safety Committee. So we want to thank and congratulate John for doing that. We appreciate that. And I am looking for a couple people to serve on the Hall of Fame committee. And they select a nominee to be inducted into the Stoughton Hall of Fame. They typically only meet once a year. So I am looking for a couple members. So if anybody out in the community, or if you know anybody, council members that you think would know some history and know some people that would be nominated and voted on to be inducted, certainly send them my way. And I'd like to get, some people appointed so we can make some selections here by the end of the year. That's all I had for communications. We do have a couple presentations. I have one from the Landmarks. Is somebody from Landmarks on here?
Excuse me, Mayor. I think Director Weiss had her hand up.
Oh, okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jill.
Very good, thank you. I did want to thank Alder Jensen for highlighting our experience with Liam. It was really a pleasure to get to have the opportunity to have him come and see. He's very into utility poles, and so I had the opportunity to meet with our linemen, and it was a wonderful experience for all of us. And I did want to just highlight again that we have achieved our goals. So congratulations, City Council, for lead service line replacement. We are at 100%. And so if you've been watching our website, you'll go to it now and find that we have 0 to complete. 699 parcels actually kind of impacted with this. But now that work is complete. We had 650 private lines replaced and 336 public lead lines replaced. If you didn't have the opportunity to go to the event, we did commemorate it and would like all the City Council to actually sign because of your participation, your leadership, your decision-making to achieve this goal. So we'll have this at the utility office if you'd like to stop down and sign to commemorate the event. And then our next in-person meeting, if you're not able to do that, we'll have that there as well. So thank you all very much for your support and commitment to see this through. Thank you.
And thank you for a great job on both of those efforts. I know people reached out to me on Liam and they were really pleased with how that went. And obviously the lead service line is a huge accomplishment for everybody in the city. So thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
And thank the rest of not only the council, but all the other staff members that participated in that. It certainly is a team effort. From City Hall to Public Works to Stoughton Utilities and everybody in between. There's a lot of people that had increased workloads in order to make these projects happen. And we certainly appreciate the work that they did. All right, any other communications? All right, so I'm calling out as Landmarks here. If not, we'll come back if they join us later. And we have a presentation from Callie from the Chamber of Commerce Visitor Services. Callie, do you want me to drive or do you want to drive?
If you could drive, it'd be appreciated. I'm actually joining from my phone, so I don't have as much capabilities as my laptop.
All right, hopefully you can see your first slide.
I can, yep.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I am Callie LaPointe, the Events and Visitor Services Manager at Stoughton Chamber of Commerce. In my role, I run 2 distinctly different roles, the chamber events such as Set and I, Coffee Break, etc., and then tourism through the Visitor Services Department of the Stoughton Chamber. Tonight, I am here to present the annual marketing activities from this past year for Visit Stoughton. The Visitor Services has a commission that includes representatives from lodging, attractions, retails, Chamber of Commerce, and 2 at-large businesses. They oversee and approve the spending and the annual budget, so there's no formal motion needed to be made at this council meeting this evening. Next slide, please. All right, so this shows the proposed budget that was approved from last year. As we all know, 2020 was a difficult year, and the sole income I have for this project is based on hotel tax revenue. So I had proposed a $0 carryover with an estimated $40,000 in room tax, special projects to bring in $2,000, administrative expenses were nearly $18,000, operational expenses, these are my marketing and advertising dollars, of $25,600, which would be a total expenses of $43,500 at a negative income for $426. So as we all know, room tax is kind of unknown. So this did get approved with the knowledge that we might have more tax come in. So the negative 426 does not include any potential of carryover dollars, money not spent in 2020. In all, I was able to carry over about $3,000 to assist in the bills for the first quarter of 2021. Next slide, please. All right, and here is a graph representation on the room tax revenue for tourism starting in 2004 to current. Please note the 2021, the final bar on the far right, only reflects 2 payments that we have received thus far for 2021. So we are coming in, so far I've received $27,000 for 2 quarters, and in comparison to last year of $26,000 for the entire year. So doing quite well and not going to hit that negative $400 for the year. Next slide, please. All right, so some of the Q1 marketing and advertising efforts. I have a big sign, a window sign down in the Beloit Travel Center. So this just kind of highlights where we are. There's a map of how far we are from major destinations such as Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago. And then I put together the first edition of the Stoughton Wedding Guide. This will be reprinted again this coming winter. This guide highlights the locations and contacts for wedding vendors with hopes to bring more wedding business to the area. So if you have any friends or family that are in the independent wedding business, please send them my way and we can get connected there. And then the biggest expense I had known for 2021 was the final payment of $10,000 to Discover Wisconsin. I signed on to this in the winter, well, December of 2018. So it was a $40,000 investment spread over 4 years. Looking at how things were going last June, I was able to negotiate my final payment into 2 $500 payments throughout the quarters. So one quarter one $500 payment was covered in February of last year, and I paid it off in June of last year, or this year, excuse me. And next slide. In Q2, highlighted a little bit more on Facebook with, there's a biannual vintage shop hop, which covers all of Wisconsin and Illinois, and kind of a cute little tagline here was conveniently located between here and there, highlighting people to stop and stay in Stoughton while they're shopping throughout the 2 states. And then I did a 5-week run between April and May, promoting the Stoughton Wedding Guide and highlighting some of those vendors in that. I also did a boosted Google search for the hotels in Stoughton to tie into the website that I have. So just when people search for stay in Stoughton, hotels in Stoughton now, the Visit Stoughton page will pop up a little bit higher on those search engines. All right, and in Q3 was a lot of grant work and collaboration. I submitted a grant to the Department of Tourism. This request was to cover some billboard advertising. This was due just at the end of September, so I haven't heard any word back. If it is accepted, I have all 2022 to use those funds. So it'd be a billboard primarily northbound from Janesville. And if we see how that's going, then it will also be in Baraboo area, and these would be for digital billboards. So it saves a little bit on the printing cost of permanent billboards. I also put in that grant request for some photography. Photography I'm using right now is from 2017. So use it a lot. So we can always use some fun new things of Stoughton. Group tours are returning. So there's a lot of communication and group tours that goes on. We have 3 on the books for the spring. These are day trips and no need in hotel stays, unfortunately at this point, but we're working on that. Their visits consist of Stoughton Opera House, Livs Reisa, Sons of Norway, and if they have time in their agenda, then they get down to shop in Stoughton. Working with some public works folks on some new ideas and possible ARPA grants through the city. So keep tuned to that one as we work through some projects. Another grant I've been working on or have a proposal in for is the Discover Mediaworks. I have sent a proposal over to Mayor Swadley for a formal request and review of ARPA funds. This would be to highlight some search engine optimization and video advertising. Discover Mediaworks is the company that produces Discover Wisconsin. So they have footage from when they did our episode. And the proposal is for, again, search engine optimization, some programmatic displays, the little ads that you see as you're searching websites, and then some pre-video on YouTube. So in place of a lot of the paid advertising that I've been able to do in the past, a lot of this has been working on partnerships, cultivating some new ideas and moving forward with plans that we can do in 2022. And a little bit more in quarter 3. The AAA Wonders of Wisconsin, they produced a little travel guide. So I have a little ad in there. In 5 weeks, I have produced 200 leads. So it kind of gives a breakdown of where all those leads are coming from. Really good reach throughout the Midwest. With each lead, I've been sending them a Stoughton community guide, which highlights the chamber members, events to do. There's a city map. So really good outreach of our community. And I also advertise in the Opera House Arts and Culture Guide, and did a little paid boost for when the Opera House went on sale, that they can plan their stay in a hotel while they're here. All right, and then quarter 4, last year I bought a digital visitor map platform, and I continue to use that in new ways. I'll be working on a walking tour to highlight Stoughton's 175th celebration next year. And I'll also be working with Streets Department to add in construction as that comes into play with the different roundabouts. So Brett Hebert was very interested in this, and like, doesn't take much time. Let me know and I can put a little tag on there. So please know that this is here, and share the word. Right now it's available on visitstoughton.com. But as construction picks up this spring, hopefully we'll see it a little bit more. And then coming up this winter is I have a Brava advertorial in their November issue. This is for small town travel section, the events and holiday happenings. So the middle picture is the ad I have, and then they did a little write-up on our community. And I will also be working on another print of the visitors map, which is the printed version of that digital map. All right, in ongoing efforts, I do a website. I have the website, visitstoughton.com, and a monthly newsletter of the events going on in the area that I hand out to businesses. And then just some more online marketing, again, with the website. It's the next tab. All right, then on the second to final one is the proposed budget for 2022. Again, this has already been approved by the commission. So just kind of for knowledge of what the city, of what I'm doing for the city with the room tax dollars. Projected net balance of 2020 is what I estimated last year's budget. So I'm not projecting a carryover. And again, I haven't received quarter 3, so it's kind of hard to project the carryover without a quarter 3 yet. But proposed hotel revenue is estimating an average $11,000 per quarter, which is $4,000 more than I proposed last year. Not seeing quarter 3, I'm budgeting on a leaner end. Special projects are income from the community guide, which will cover shipping costs, and a reprint of the wedding guide, which printing costs will be covered in part by the advertisements, and then the other portion will be from my advertising dollars. Discover Wisconsin's commitment has been paid off this past spring, so that's a $40,000 investment, allowing previous $10,000 annual commitment to be used on other advertising and marketing efforts. Continuing efforts to drive traffic to the Visit Stoughton website, social media, and print materials to aid hotels, such as the visitors map, incentive shopping, cards, etc. I do have a travel guide commitment in advertising for quarter 1 of 2022. There's 3 different publications I've signed up for. So these are placed at CVBs and rest stops throughout the state. So this will free up some of the additional revenue that we'll see and hopefully carry over a little bit to be used in quarter 3 and quarter 4. Per bylaws, I'm able to carry over 20% of the operating expenses each year as necessary. So again, planning kind of on the lean end and hoping for a big hurrah at the end of next year. So I thank you for your time this evening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at the chamber. Otherwise, I thank you for listening and watching on.
All right, and thank you and congratulations on the wine walk. That was a great event. A lot of people downtown. Perfect weather. I don't know how you do it, but we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Did anybody have any questions for Callie?
No, I was just waving.
Okay. No questions for Callie tonight? All right, you're off the hook. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Say hi to Hazel.
All right, let me get back to my screen here. There we are. Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And there's just the minutes from the last meeting in there. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Hunt. Any questions on the minutes from the last meeting? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion does carry. Next item would be R-159 of 2021. And this one will be coming from the Plan Commission. Alderperson Carabello.
Yes, thank you. This is our 159 of 2021, approving an extraterritorial jurisdictional land division request by Arlen Teagan for property located at 1069 Taylor Lane, Town of Dunkirk, Dane County, Wisconsin, and I so move.
And is there a second?
Second.
All right, second by Alderperson Tukowski, Alderperson Carabello.
And I'm basically just going to hand this right over to Plan Director Shield, if that's okay.
Sure, thank you. So this addition of this land to this parcel, there's a residential parcel off of Taylor Lane. The additional land is being added to the Tigan farm, a larger farm adjacent to this, was recently sold off as part of the family change in family status. This son desired to have additional land put onto his parcel in exchange for lands that were within the city and ripe for urban development. The parcel that's being added to is directly adjacent to the substation. So shown in the corner of the screen down below the parcel labeled Tigan is a utility substation. So the land that's being added to this is off to the west of that parcel and actually would further insulate it from urban development if and when the balance of the farm does come into the city and would be annexed. So that's the request. It does expand this rural parcel, but I don't think it's going to create an irregular boundary for urban development to occur adjacent to it in the future.
Okay, any questions or comments?
So Rodney, on that map again, I'm sorry, it keeps on blinking off. His is just that weird irregular shape one,
Yeah,
and the property next to that, or?
Mayor, if you can scroll down to the actual certified survey map page, I think that might be helpful. So this is a better depiction of what's being added. You can see the very corner of the page, the triangle in the corner, if you will, is the Stoughton substation at the corner of Taylor and Acker Road. The house is located on just to the north of that, and the expansion of the parcel is the area that's shown to the west. So all of lot one is one larger parcel that's being created as part of this request.
Okay, that makes better sense. It was like this weird triangle. So I see that now the dotted line of where it was and then where it's expanding. Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Any other questions or comments? The only way I can see everybody is if I stop my share, so that's why it keeps going back and forth. So that's my homework assignment for the next meeting, is to see if there's another way to do that.
I think you might just need 2 monitors.
You know, sometimes I can barely handle one. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. That motion does carry. Next item is coming from, this one was at Public Works. Unfortunately, we didn't have a quorum, but we'd like to have you consider this for approval. And I think what I'll do is I'll just have, maybe just have Rodney kind of just walk you through it before we ask for the motion, if you're willing to do that, Director Shield.
Sure, thank you. The Able Plat is a area just off of Lincoln Avenue, just north of Hamilton Street. You might recall we entered into an agreement with Habitat for Humanity to improve that cul-de-sac. That cul-de-sac was platted a number of years ago. The improvements were never made. Entered into agreement with Habitat for Humanity to actually make the street improvements there. The street improvements have been done and are satisfactory and appropriate for acceptance by the city. Acceptance of the public improvements as outlined here will allow us to release the surety that was put in place to make sure those public improvements were made to our satisfaction or to our standards. And I'm here to report that we believe that is the case.
Are there any initial questions on this?
I don't think so.
All right. If not, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I would move that we approve the Habitat for Humanity platting on Able Plat and return their surety.
And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Schumacher. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. All right, that motion does carry. Next item is coming from our clerk's office. And before we get into the resolution, I think what we can do is give you an update. You know, there certainly has been a short window here in order to complete the census work and the redistricting for the aldermanic districts. And I'm going to have Candy and maybe Attorney Dregney can kind of walk you through, but there were some things that had to change. I know some of the council members have already sent questions to Candy, so we appreciate you doing that ahead of time. And these are changes that, you know, have to be made, you know, in order to comply with the criteria that is being used as we put these maps together. Who would like to start first, Attorney Dregney or Clerk Christian?
I think Candy's taking the lead on this, so I'll let her walk through it. That's okay with Candy.
Sure. Okay, as we've mentioned in the past, this is a pretty short window and I've had to do an awful lot of learning pretty quickly on this. So we had our timeline, we had our goal of the big thing was trying to minimize any impact on the residents. We had 16 wards previously, and we're now down to 8 wards. We had to eliminate wards that were 0 population and try to even out the population for the city of Stoughton. Has to be within 600 and 2,100 people per ward. So we had to finagle some wards here and there, some census blocks. And what I have on this ordinance here is what we're proposing right now. We have a small impact down on, it's the bottom of the map, Ward 5 and Ward 4. We had a few census blocks that kind of flipped lines. So they are going to be affected. They will move from District 2 to District 3. I think the total population is about 208 people that will be affected by that.
And if I'm not mistaken, it goes from District 3 into District 2.
Yes. We had some, and Regina or Alder Hirsch, I'm sorry, when we spoke on Thursday, there are now a few more that were affected by it when we worked that out. And I discovered that on Friday, working with the LRB the county did an update and I had to do some changes and stuff, and he went through the map with me. So I have a few more census blocks that were affected by it. And all of those residents will be notified by letters, communication from me. And if we, as you know, also the council, want to reach out to these people and let them know that they will be changing, we can do that at a later date with the elections commission's help on that. So I don't know if we want to go through the district. The next few slides are the districts, the census blocks. Oh yes, this part of it are all the Mediac districts. Our wards stay the same as far as the polling locations. So there's no change there. And then if we want to scroll down again, Mayor Swadley, these are the census blocks that are in each district. So we can kind of scroll through that. That's the detail that they email us. But as you go down a little bit further, we have what was the original map. A lot of census blocks to work with there. So this is where we were originally at. And 9 is now absorbed into 7. 16 is now into 8. All of these wards, some of them had 0 population. And the next slide then will show us what we're proposing. And it's down in this lower bottom, 57 and 44 census block. Those ones were affected. 8, 21 up here along the river. I don't know if you can move your mouse, Mayor Swadley. If you go to the, I think it's the next, I have a slide eventually. It's not right in here, but these are the populations. Next one down, I have it highlighted. That might help you. One more slide. There you go.
One here.
Yep, that kind of shows you which ones are 40. Hold on. 44 and 57 were over here in District 5, and now they're in District 4. And then up above are census blocks 21, 8, 15, 24, 37, 29, 26, 30, and 21. Went from 2 down, or went from 3 up to 2. And the reason being is that ward, one of the wards, hold on, let me get to my right page here. Ward 5 had an increase of over 10% in population, and we're not allowed to have that. So we absorbed some of the people. We have to keep it contiguous, so we kind of moved the people around, and then also tried to adjust for the proposed riverfront development. So I'm sure I'm not probably making sense of all of this. It's a lot of this and that with it, but that's where we're at proposal wise. And we're within all of the parameters that we need to be to meet the legal requirements for the redistricting. Somebody asked me in regards to, can we plan for future development? And I did talk to Mike Gallagher at the LRB, and he advised that we just adjust the wards right now and stay under that 10% population. We do not have to accommodate for future growth at this time. We're just to work with what the population numbers are given to us. So in the future, when we have the increase in population, then it will be handled at that time. A new ward will probably be added on. It's all going to stay within the supervised, the county district that they're concerned about. So he basically advised we just really need to maintain that balance in our wards, if at all possible. So lower the populations a little bit, but we have to stay within our parameters. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if you have, I'm sure you have questions for me, or if Matt can answer better than I can.
I guess if Mary Swally can scroll down a little bit on that to show what the total numbers are for each ward,
Yeah.
that would, I think, help people.
Okay, let me just find that. I think it's.
It was on that document. You just had to
Yep.
scroll down. Because that's why, the real reason why they had to move things over is because District 3 really gained a lot of population, and we were like, what, over 300 people more than any other district? And so we
Correct.
had to even that out, even with the projected new developments coming in District 2 and District 4.
Is this the one you were looking for?
Yes.
President Hirsch? Yeah, so I
Well,
think,
yeah, that'll do.
so I think we had like a minimum and a maximum number, and then there was also that 10% factor, Candy, is that?
Yes, and
or-
it is, were you talking Alder Hirsch about the
Well,
graph
I was-
that has?
Yeah, I was actually looking at that spreadsheet one, so people could see where, you know, people of color are, and that, you know, we weren't, any other minority groups weren't being like spread out. They just happen to be
There it
all
is.
over, and yes.
Yep.
You can enlarge that, that would be great.
How's that? Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah,
So you can see the range on there that we have to be within the 600 to 2100. And then I think Candy also had mentioned that you can't, what was it? You can't increase it by 10%? Is that?
It
what
can't
is
be
it?
over a 10% increase. So this is with the proposed map. So we're underneath a 10% deviation there. There's another, where it was at before, it might be, if you scroll up 2 screens. Oh, maybe it's down too, I'm sorry. One more. There you go. This is where you're seeing Ward 5 had a 10.57% increase. If we leave the maps without changing those wards that we're proposing to, we're just not allowed to have that. They would make us change that Ward 5 for sure, so.
And I guess-
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and the other question is really when does this have to be approved? Is this something that you're looking at doing tonight? Because it is an ordinance, we'd have to waive the rules, or can it wait? I mean, is there a preference here? I know they didn't give us much time to work with.
We have to have it approved and back to the county by November 5th. So your first meeting, your first reading of this ordinance had to be at a regular meeting. After this, if you decide to have a second reading, we can have a special meeting for it.
Well, you can waive the second reading tonight if the council chooses to waive the rules.
Correct.
and what happens if it isn't in on time? I'm just being devil's advocate here, because you've been busting your, you know, you're doing a really good job, but it just seems really rushed for you that, you know, it's hard to even like double check or triple check everything because of the, I mean, what is the penalty if we don't get it in, just to make sure, just, not that we won't, but I'm just kind of curious.
I'm not sure what the penalty would be. I don't know that I want to travel down that road. The type A notice has to be out by November 15th. And the whole process needs to be approved. So nomination papers can start being circulated on December 1st. So, you know, it has to get back to the county so they can finish their approval process, so they can get their type A notice back to us and we can get our notices out. So they've never given me, or any of us clerks, what if you don't do happens. I don't want to, I hate to find out.
No, I know. It was just like you've been under a lot of pressure, and I think a lot of municipalities are, and it just hasn't been a real,
Yeah, everyone.
it's an unfortunate process, and when it's something so important.
Right, I agree. I would certainly, along with Attorney Dregney and Attorney Poland, certainly go through this with the LRB again. I would have them look at this and make sure that we're absolutely correct in what I've done here. I would not want any mistakes. I mean, this affects wards, so we're pretty confident in what we've got here, so.
Yeah, my understanding is, Candy, that you believe that if the council is satisfied with the map, that it meets the legal requirements.
Yes.
And to stay on the schedule that we've been asked to stay on, we need to have action either tonight, or we'd have to have a special meeting sometime between now and November 4th.
Yes. We need to get it back to them by the 5th.
I think I remember if I remember correctly, that if we don't meet the timeline, I think they take the president of the council out to the woodshed.
I know, I think I could be missing, so to be the vice president.
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, I don't remember it being that way.
Yeah, it was always, you never get the top one. You always go for the scapegoat, the second one in command.
Okay,
Thanks, Greg.
you're welcome. I would make a motion to waive the rules and approve this this evening.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Jensen and a second by Reeves to waive the rules. I believe we need a 2/3 majority. We'll go ahead and take a voice vote and see what happens. And I don't know if we can have a discussion on waiving the rules.
No, I don't think so. It just goes right to vote.
Yeah, thank you. All in favor of waiving the rules, say aye.
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 And
Should be
any
voice vote.
opposed?
Tim, it should be that should be a vote,
Roll call.
roll call vote. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. I was looking for unanimous consent, but we can do a roll call. So whenever you're ready, Candy.
Okay, Venegas.
Approved.
You, Tukalski.
Aye, approved.
Thank you. Schumacher.
Aye.
Reeves.
Aye.
Majewski.
Aye.
Lagaki. Oh, she wasn't here. Sorry. Jensen.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Hirsch.
Aye.
Doom.
Aye.
Caravello.
Aye.
That is 10 in favor.
Right. So we voted to waive the rules, so that would take us to the actual ordinance. Is somebody willing to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Jensen, a second by Doom. Any discussion on the ordinance? Anything that we missed, Candy or Matt?
Nope. I think you're ready.
All right, anything from the council members? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Thank you, Candy.
Thank you.
All right, next item is R161 of 2021. And I'm going to turn this one over to President Hirsch.
Thank you. This actually came forward to me through one of our citizens, and I thought it was a fantastic idea that we should write a resolution up to the state legislature and the League of Municipalities to state that we're really in favor of kind of fair maps for this go around. And that's basically what this says, just to give them extra, encouragement that different municipalities want this. We're not the only municipality that's done, has been writing the resolutions. We're just one of many. And so I hope you read it and can support it.
Absolutely.
All
Do you
right,
want me to read it?
you don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want. We just need a motion in a second.
Yeah, I'll put that motion.
I'll second.
And I think I heard a second by Alderperson
Second.
Jensen. And any discussion or thoughts, or you want me to hand deliver it, or what would you like to do?
Well, that was actually in the motion itself, and the resolution, it's asked the city clerk to send it to the governor's office and the different, each person in the Senate and legislature, as well as the League of Municipalities, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was definitely in there, and being on the League of Municipality Advocacy Board, doing resolutions like this do make a difference. I think sometimes the state senators, they hear from mayors all the time and constituents, but to hear it from an entire body, I think is really powerful. So, I would certainly encourage, the council, not only on this one, but even some other issues, to put resolutions together. Obviously, there's support amongst the community members as well. So I think that's a good way to really, try to be at the table when these decisions are made. Any questions or comments from alders? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion does carry. Next item is discussion and possible action regarding the application from RHD Properties LLC for the project known as 51 West. We can start this one in open session. We anticipate that the council may want to go in closed session. This was at finance a couple of weeks ago. And I know developer Bob Dvorak is on here if we have any questions for him before we go into closed session. Anything you want to start with, Director Friedel?
Not right off the bat. Like you said, Bob Dvorak's on the line if anybody has any specific questions about the development or anything like that before the council goes into closed session.
All right, and anything from your perspective, Attorney Dragney?
No, nothing to add at this point.
All right, and I think I saw Alderperson Hunt's hand up.
Yeah, I would have a question for Bob Dvorak. The inclusion of this additional housing effort that we're going to be considering, will that have an impact on the value of the remainder of the property? And if so, could you give us an idea of what the new value of the increment would be when it's completed? Hello? Hello?
Looks like, Bob, if you can hear us, you're muted right now. And if maybe he's having difficulty, are you able to provide an answer, Jamin?
No, I mean, I don't know that answer off the top of my head. you know, when Ellers did their analysis, they did build in some contingencies to the value of basically the development overall. Specifically how an affordable housing project will impact value, that's not really in my wheelhouse, so I can't really provide an intelligent answer.
Would you say, Jamin, that one would expect that the value of the surrounding property in the development would be reduced according to the Ellers report?
I could not glean that specifically from the Ellers report. I do know that Ellers built in some pretty heavy contingencies in terms of value for the development overall.
Could you explain what those contingencies, what that term would refer to here?
Yes, just a reduction in the overall value that was presented by the developer. And the developer actually had some contingencies built in on a number of the lots as well. And then Ellers added in some reductions to the value on top of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, they must be having some difficulty. I can try to reach out to them tomorrow and try to get me more information if you'd like, Fred.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. Anybody else have any? Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Matt.
I would just say in response to that last question, what I would expect that you'd see in the Ellers report is that if there is an affordable multifamily building in the project, that specific parcel would have a lower assessed value than if it were a market rate project, because the income approach to valuing the property is what would be used, and the rents that are being paid would then lead to a lower assessed value. I would be surprised. I can't say for certain, but I would be surprised if Ellers adjusted any of the other parcels in the development either up or down based solely on whether there was an affordable or market rate development on the one or two lots in the development. I would be very surprised if they did that.
Matt, from your other previous experience, you've not seen that happen in other developments?
I've never seen a consultant such as Ellers reduce the projected assessed value of surrounding lands based on the inclusion of an affordable project in the development. I know I certainly have heard comments from individuals suggesting, making the arguments that there either would or would not be an impact, but I've never seen Ellers or another consultant like Ellers make such an adjustment in value.
Okay.
All right, and just so you know, Bob can hear us, but for some reason the mic isn't working. He texted me and he agreed with Matt's answer. And I would add, that might be even something to ask the assessor. Are there any other questions? All right, hearing none. So I guess at this point, the council could decide if they want to go into closed session.
I would make a motion to move into closed session.
All right, are you able to read it?
Yep. That city council may convene in closed session per state statute 19.85 paren 1 paren E for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whether competitive or bargaining reasons deem a closed session necessary. And the council may reconvene in an open session to discuss and take action on the subject matter discussed during the closed session.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Doom. Any discussion? And Candy, we have to do a roll call vote to go into closed session. So whenever you're ready, you can call a roll call.
Okay, Venegas.
Here.
Tukalski.
Aye.
Tucker.
All right.
Reeves.
Aye.
Mayeski.
Aye.
Jensen.
All right,
Hunt, excuse me. Hirsch.
Aye.
Doom.
Aye.
Caravello.
Aye.
It's 10 ayes.
Mayor, you're on mute.
We'll just take a couple seconds here to have WSTO stop the streaming, and then anyone else that may want to be that's on here that needs to sign out. I'm not really sure. There was the one device, the Galaxy Tab A 2016.
I think that's Ozzy when he uses his tablet. He hasn't changed his name yet
Okay,
on it. He can click on it and change his name so that if you click up, Ozzy, if you click in your Galaxy up in the right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. You'll be able to rename yourself so people know who you are.
You mean in the lower right-hand corner? You're muted, Regina.
Up in the upper right hand corner there, if you scroll over there, there's a blue box with 3 little dots. Your right click on that and it'll give you an option to rename yourself.
all right, I got it. There, how's that? Okay,
A lot of that. And a lot of the things hinged around what we wanted to do.
But as far as tonight, I guess we're just trying to figure out, They're still chewing on it, but there are a few that haven't really addressed the question.
We all said we were gonna support workforce development.
All right, well, let's go through the rest of them and then, if somebody wants to speak, then we can come back to the first bullet point. I mean, the second one is point where we start looking at a developer's agreement. We skip right to the third one. All right. So I don't know what happened. There they are. So the other issues that were on here were the corridor improvements. there.
I think we
to a decision point on that. And I don't know if we work it out right now.
Have listed up above.
That
Well-
hurts our negotiating position, and is that clear enough to make a motion?
Well,
Or can we do it all at once?
I also.
Okay, I mean, I was just assuming that it was all listed. I mean, that.
I can help do that in. the next.
We're all in favor of
cost layout, because if they don't
Before we go into open session. Session.
So moved.
Second.
Favor of going back into open session, say aye. All right, that motion carries. I just got to figure out how to unlock this thing. I think I know where, here we go. All right. I have unlocked the meeting. New participants can join. So let's just give it a second in case somebody wants to log in. I'm not really sure if WSTO is going to log in or if they're still out there, if they went to bed. Okay, it looks like there's a slight delay on WSTO, so they're logging in right now. I heard my voice. Okay, we're back live on WSTO. We're still at the city council meeting from October 26th of 2021. We've just reconvened in open session and we are on item number R160, or we're on discussion and action for possible action regarding the application for RHD Properties LLC for tax incremental financing for the project known as 51 West. And at this point, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. The motion is to direct city staff to continue with the TID creation process and begin drafting the project plan to include the workforce housing request for the TIF housing requests and TIF assistance. And the developer's request for the TIF assistance on the US Highway 51 corridor and the US Highway corridor improvements. Sorry, I can't read anymore. And I so move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Doom. Any discussion on the motion? Everybody clear on what it is? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Nay.
No.
All right, I think I heard 3 no's. Is that correct?
Believe so.
Okay, that motion.
You want to do a roll call?
It's up to
Alrighty.
you guys.
Why don't we do that?
All right, Candy, when you're ready, can you do a roll call?
Okay, we have Venegas,
Aye.
Paulsky,
Nay.
we have Schumacher.
Aye.
Hold on, I'm losing myself, my spot here. Reeves,
Aye.
Mayaski,
No.
Jensen,
Aye.
Hunt,
Aye.
Hirsch,
Aye.
okay, Doom,
Aye.
and Caravello.
No.
Okay. And it's 7, I'm sorry, 7 yeses and 3 nos.
All right, that motion carries. And would anybody like to make another motion?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Uh,
There's a motion to adjourn and a second. Is there any discussion on that?
I would like to make another motion. I don't think we were done, were we?
The motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor. We could have discussion about adjourning, right? All right.
Sure, we could wait if we needed to entertain some other motions concerning tonight's business.
All right, there is a motion on the floor. Anybody want to comment on the motion? All right, so I guess hearing none, all in favor of the motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed?
No.
No.
Nay.
All right, so I heard two ayes and the rest no's. All right,
Finish it up, Regina.
so that motion fails to adjourn. So anybody have another motion?
I guess if nobody's gonna chime in, I'll make the motion. I believe it was to direct city staff to begin developer agreement discussions with Lake Storm Properties as they relate to the workforce housing project, and I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderperson Jensen. Any discussion on that one? And did you want to do a roll call on this one too, by the way?
Sure.
All right, Candy, when you're ready. Are you still there, Candy? You're muted, so.
My apologies. Caravello,
Aye.
Doom,
Aye.
Hirsch,
Aye.
Hunt,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Mayaski,
No.
Reeves,
Aye.
Schumacher,
Aye.
Pekalski,
Aye.
and Venegas.
Aye.
So that time did I get everybody there?
Yep.
We have 9 yeses and 1 no.
All right, and anybody like to make a third motion?
Was there a third motion? If not, I'm,
Yeah, that was for the developers agreement for the non-workforce.
okay. All right, I would like to make a A motion to finalize the parameters to be used in drafting the developer's agreement for the non-workforce housing portion of the development, and I so move.
We just modify that to say direct staff to begin work
Okay.
on the development agreement for that.
Sure. I would like to amend my motion to direct staff to begin the developer agreement for the non-workforce housing portion of the development, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Schumacher. Any discussion on this one? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed to this one?
No.
No.
2 noes, any abstentions? That motion carries. And I think that was it. Alderperson Hunt, did you have a motion?
Well, let me think. Yes, I do. I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Absolutely.
Good
Second
motion.
by Hirsch, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. We made it by 10 o'clock. Nice job, you guys.
Thank you, everybody, for your hard work. Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, everybody.